Good evening, everybody. I'm going to demonstrate the Christmas ball Diva wreath that you all have seen on Black Girls Craft, all over Facebook, I guess. I'm in several groups that I posted it in. But several people have asked me how to do it, and it's very similar to the fall leaf wreath and the deco mesh wreath with the scarf. So I'm going to show you how I put it together. Not saying my method is the right way or the only way, but it's what worked for me. So let's get started. We're going to use the wreath form that I utilized in the previous tutorials. It is in the fall harvest, how this is put together. Once again, this is foam board, and this is a foam sheet, and it is attached to an 8-inch wreath form on the back that is attached with zip ties, and then I hot glue for a little extra security. I am using a different color silhouette this time. Had a request from some of my other craft sisters, and they also wanted to see a silhouette that matched their skin tones a little bit better. So here we go with this one. So we have the wreath form. I have a few items here that can be utilized at the top of her scarf once we're to that point. Just some various picks. These items all came from Dollar Tree, a bow, some things I had from earlier today, crafting tool. I don't know if I'm gonna use all of that, but I have it here just in case we decide. And here I have a total of 120 craft balls. 60 red and 60 silver, because that's the color combination that I'm going to use on this wreath. I don't know that I will use them all, and I'm not even certain that it's enough. The first time I put this together, I didn't count. I realized as I had gotten through it after about 70 balls that I was really short. So I've got 120 in 2 different sizes, and these also came from Dollar Tree. And then the small Dollar Tree tree skirt that is used for the little miniature tree that Dollar Tree sells is what I use to make her head wrap. So we will get started. I did not mention previously that these ornaments are attached using glue sticks and a glue gun, but that's the process that I use to attach all of the ornaments on. And I am pretty much just gonna start gluing these ornaments on. I take off the little piece that's on the end. I don't know that it's necessarily necessary. I just find that my stuff seems to fit a little better if I don't have that little plastic piece on the end. Because you can glue the plastic piece and then it still come detached, and then your wreath loses a ball. So I pull all of these apart, and I start with the small size balls first. But essentially, I'm just going to start gluing these balls, the smaller sizes, and fill up this black part of the wreath. And I'm just utilizing a regular glue gun and glue sticks. And I just add a dot of glue, and then I attach my ball and let it sit for a second. Let me also say, I left a little bit of a lip on the edge right on this side and on this side, because that's where I actually glued this tree skirt on the edges. So you'll see that there will be an area up till about, I'd say the halfway mark on the circle, a little less than halfway, that I do not put balls all the way to the edge on purpose. So continue gluing your balls on, and I just attach, hold them in place for a second and keep it moving. Sometimes I will add a little dab in between and glue the balls together for extra stability. But you just continue to alternate your colors or whatnot. That one's still got a piece on it. And continue attaching the balls until you fill up the entire circle. Okay, so I have attached the balls that I want to attach. And this is a little messy underneath. I really should clean it up a little bit. But from this point here, and there's a little bit of a pattern. I tried to alternate colors and designs and all of that. But from this point here, I am going to start utilizing the larger balls and start placing them. And then I fill in with smaller balls. I even have some of the tiny balls that Dollar Tree sells. I don't know if I'll utilize those on this one, but I grabbed those because they had them in the colors I was using. So next we're gonna start with the larger size balls. You'll still use some of the smaller ones, but this is where we are gonna kind of fill in and fill her up. And it's kind of an assortment of patterns or glitter or not glitter, matte and shiny on these. And I also removed the little metal piece. Well, it's plastic on these, but what would be a little metal piece off the ends of the ornaments. So we'll start attaching these larger balls in the same kind of alternating pattern scheme and see how that goes. So you're just going to continue to glue the balls on with your hot glue. And I attach my balls to other balls, just kind of squeeze and glue in wherever it may be needed. And I just keep going until I have her filled in. Now, everything doesn't fit precisely. You have to go back a little bit and add some balls here and there, but that's pretty much how you put her together. And you just continue to glue these balls. Okay, folks, so I've attached balls, lots of balls, a total of about 100, and it still needs a little bit of cleanup and maybe some additional balls, which I'll know once I attach the scarf and kind of see what it looks like. Or it's not a scarf, it's actually a tree skirt, but it looks like a scarf once we get it done. This is the Dollar Tree tree skirt that is for the little miniature tree. And basically what I'm going to do is hot glue this tree skirt right along her hairline. Now there's some additional stuff that's gonna have to be done to make this stand out, but what you need to do is attach this tree skirt right to the hairline, kind of like where a hat would fall. And I had no problems utilizing the hot glue to the back of the fabric right along the seam is what I did. So let's attach this, and we'll arrange it and cut it as need be once you have it glued down to make sure you have the coverage that you need. But this is where having the little edge on your face matters, because we want to glue right along this edge like that. Okay, so you're going to continue to add glue and tack this little tree skirt right to the foam board, right to the balls that are on the wreath, You just need to make sure this thing gets stuck on. I didn't have any problem using the hot glue to get my lighting a little bit better. Now, once you've got it glued on, I just kind of played with it a little bit. Now that you have the scarf actually attached, you just kind of have to play with it and figure where to cut so that this looks neat. But I trimmed and then glued and fold under so that it looked like a seam. So I'm going to cut this one triangle off more than where I'm going to fold. Okay, I cut that piece off, and I'm gonna cut this piece off on this side. And I just cut kind of like a little triangle so that I still have fabric underneath, or fabric to fold it underneath. So once I have that cut, then I take my fabric and fold it under and line it up. And then I'm going to do some additional gluing and maybe some additional placing of ornaments. But that's essentially how to get that attached. So fold this down, and I'm gonna go ahead and attach some glue over on this side. So this side will be down. But you fold it under, and that just makes it look more finished on the edge, like it has a seam. So with this, I'm going to add a little bit of glue on this side. And this is a little more fabric over here than I probably would like. I'm going to trim that off. That fur kind of gets in the way. And then I will tack this down and glue this here so that the scarf stays in place. You can also add a little glue to the fold in here so that it stays. But that's how I attach the scarf, or the tree skirt, essentially, that is to act as her scarf with glue. Okay, so once you have the scarf attached, of course it doesn't look very presentable like that. I used fiber fill for my, to fill in so that I didn't have to put balls all the way under there. You probably could. That was just a lot of balls, I thought. But I just stuffed fiber fill down inside of here. Now that is not a Dollar Tree product. I have not yet found fiber fill at Dollar Tree. But you do this and kind of fill in the areas where the cap isn't full, so that it looks full all the way around. I got my fiber fill actually from Walmart, but to be quite honest, I'm sure you could probably use just about anything that's soft and will maneuver to fill this in. Now this to me looks like, now that this is on, that I need to go back in and add some additional balls in this area so that this fills all the way in. So this is fiber fill, and I'm going to continue tucking this in to make sure it just fills in all the way. And then to me, I'm looking at the fact that I need to go back in and add some additional balls to fill this out in this area. Okay, now I've added some additional balls, and I will go back a little bit and clean this up. There's glue strands and all kinds of stuff going on. And I may need to add some additional balls to shape this. As you can see, it's not exactly rounded. So I'll have to add some additional balls to make this kind of curve a little bit. But I wanted to show, I pull the scarf up, and I use a a chenille stem, pipe cleaner, whatever you want to call it, to kind of pull this together to make the knot. I suppose you could trim some of that off, whatever works for you. But that's where I attach my clips via the clip, via hot glue, however you choose to do it. But you can glue those little decorations on and add whatever is needed to kind of complete the look at the top. So I'm going to glue these on and probably add some more balls to this side because this seems a little misshapen, but to round it on out so that it looks more like her hair. And then I'm going to add black paint to the eyelash and a little pink to the lips. So I'm going to wrap this up and I'll show you the finished product. Okay, so I have added some additional balls and all. I'm going to guesstimate that I probably did use about 120 to 150 of these all together. But that's the finished product. It still needs a little cleanup. I did go ahead and add a little pink paint for lips and black for eyelashes. The necklace that I used on the other wreath were these little jingle bells. I'm not certain if I'll put a necklace on this lady, or if I do, what I'll use. I'll have to see what I've got laying around. But this is it, complete. There's a little bit better picture of her all the way finished.